Bing, it's your boy MacMean. True story. All stories ain't true, but this one is. I don't know why my camera's so messed up. Today we're gonna talk about Bronx Wars. This video that I just seen that just popped up on my screen, and why SP Light was taken in Monroe versus Weeks, the war, that so-called gang war, which really wasn't a gang war. I just got off the phone with SP brother, man. And for those that don't know, SP Marvin Harris, aka SP, was shot 15 times back in 2016. All right, and that was my cousin. But I seen this thing pop up, and I was like, excuse me, I didn't even see this pop up. My boy Mike G told me to look at this because they were speaking about my cousin or whatever. And I just found it ironic. I got SP's brother. He about to call on the FaceTime, and I'm gonna let y'all. We're gonna talk about Marvin, aka SP.
Cruise to the Yankee Stadium was the Girard Avenue crew and the murder unit. If you know, you know. That's another story we will get into in another video. So, we have the Weeks Avenue versus Monroe Avenue case. This case stems from a long-running narcotics conspiracy that operated principally out of the apartment building at 240 East 175th Street and the adjacent corner of East 175th Street and Monroe Avenue in the Bronx, New York, members of which often referred to themselves collectively as 240. In recent years...
All right, so this is 240 in the Bronx, 175th Street. My cousin SP, he grew up over there. We all grew up over there. My aunts lived over there, so we came up over there. But SP had went down south for mad years and then came back to the Bronx. When he came back to the Bronx, he got with us, the rest of the family. He went with his father's family when he was young. When he left 240, we all spread out all around the Bronx. But SP used to like going back to 240. The day before he was killed, right? He called me downtown. He was on Cypress. He was like, yo, pull up. I just got into an issue. Now, the next day, we were supposed to be going upstate because I was fighting the case, and I was out on bail, and I didn't want to be in New York. So I was running back and forth to Ithaca, New York. So he was supposed to be coming with me the very next day to go to Ithaca to ride the four-wheelers. Never got with me because he got killed. But the day before, it was a problem. You know what I'm saying? And I was telling him, you need to chill, stay low. Matter of fact, Mike G was on the phone with me talking about, we was in the house having an argument. Mike G, the dude that sent me this video, we was in the house a couple of days before SP got murdered in my studio on Burke Avenue. And I'm yelling at this dude. I'm telling him how on 183rd and Andrews, we don't got people that's from my hood that's known to smoke people from the hood. And we got problems. Normally the problems is outside of Andrews, you know? But over there on 240, I was telling them that them dudes over there is cutthroat because it's like an open market for the whole Bronx to pop up. You know what I'm saying? To make money. We know all of this stuff was going on. And according to this, you'll see the dude that killed my cousin, you know what I'm saying, SP, they wasn't caught for about 6 months later, even though they was under investigation, federal investigation, for almost 2 years.
Uriah, aka Scooter, and Willie, aka Willow, were two of the leaders within that conspiracy as suppliers of drug product to other street-level sellers. Although each had separate workers, they had explicit and implicit understandings and agreements as to who was permitted to sell drugs in their territory, among other issues that affected the entire group. For more than 20 years, Scooter sold and supplied drugs, principally crack cocaine. Over the years, Scooter has both made his own street-level sales to customers, and he at times employed workers who would sell his product on consignment, meaning they would accept the product up front, then repay Scooter after making their sales. At all times since the mid-1990s, drug business in the 240 territory was regulated, such that only sellers who received product from certain suppliers...
SP was from over there, but he didn't grow up over there. You understand what I'm saying? If anything, he grew up more like around my hood, Fordham, 183rd, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where most of my family was at. He used to just like he got money and he used to like going over there and chilling over there. What happened was, you know what I'm saying? Y'all can look at this on your own. I'm going to tell you what happened because this is a long ass video. SP used to like going to chill over there. He had just bought a white BMW. There was a kid that was with him when he went over there. I ain't gonna say the dude name, you know what I'm saying? Cause I still want to slap the shit out of him too, right? So the dude that was with him when he got hit, the day before that, my cousin called me. Like I said, told me that he had an issue downtown. I told him, you got a brand new car. Why don't you just get in the car, you know what I'm saying, and drive and come up here. You know what I'm saying? Because we got to leave tomorrow anyway. Like the next day, we were supposed to be going to Ithaca to ride the four-wheelers. What he did was he stayed in New York, right? Now, my cousin in the city, my other cousin that was with me, I went to SP's house to get my my studio equipment and take it up to Ithaca, you know? So he's supposed to be helping me do that whole shit. Early in the morning, I get over there. This is the day that he died, matter of fact, right? Early that morning, I get there to his house, and he ain't dressed. You know what I'm saying? My other cousin like, yo, what's up? I'm like, yeah. You know, basically it's gonna take me 10 minutes to get this equipment. While I'm getting the equipment, SP came out. He like, nah, I ain't going. You know what I'm saying? So him and my other cousin had gotten into an argument and shit. I was sitting there on the fire hydrant just watching these niggas. I'm like, you ain't coming with us? He like, nah, I can't come. You know what I'm saying? But I'll be there on Tuesday. I was like, all right. I used to come down every week to go check in with my bail officer or bail, whoever, the bailiff. You know what I'm saying? The person that we owe the bail agency. And I was like, all right, nigga, I'll see you next week. You ain't coming Tuesday. That night he got killed, shot 15 times. According to, let's just finish looking at this. I'm gonna show you what he walked into the middle of. Because SP, his name is Marvin Harris, but SP used to have a big, big mouth. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button, y'all. This is my blood cousin. This is not the fake cousin. You know what I mean? That's my little cousin. We was together each day, every day. Matter of fact, let me call his brother real quick. According to what they saying, he had an argument. A lot of this information, if y'all watch this Bronx Wars thing, don't believe everything you hear on this, man. Please don't do it to yourself.
Hello?
What's up?
What's up?
Tell people who you are.
Huh?
Tell the people who you are. What's your name?
My name is William.
And who you are to SP.
I'm his brother.
All right. Tell me something about your brother, man.
He was a good person. He was a sweetheart. He was kind, respectful. He was fun to be around.
Nigga, that nigga used to choke you up, bro. Stop playing.
Yeah, like he used to choke me up and shit like that. Like he used to check me when I get out of the line and shit. But otherwise, it's cool. He's a cool dude. Yeah, he was. I miss him a lot. I wish he was here right now. But it is what it is.
Who that in the background?
That's my dad.
Okay. Yeah, I'm talking about, you seen this thing on this Bronx War thing on them?
Nah.
You said you gotta look at that. They got a lot of incorrect information in there. But I just want the people, I just wanted you to say what's up to the people and shit and tell them more about SP. Now let me ask you something, right?
Yes.
Do you remember, you was young, you know what I'm saying? You was too young to probably remember when he left. But do you remember when he came back and how he was?
Nah.
You're a bad person to interview, man. I feel like reaching through the phone, slapping fire out you.
Because I'm nervous, Johnny.
Don't call me my real name, nigga. We on YouTube, bro.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Mac, I'm nervous.
Yeah, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I ain't gonna keep you on the phone while you're nervous. I'm gonna finish talking it. You know what I'm saying? You watching it on YouTube?
I'm about to watch it right now.
All right. Yeah, so this is what he walked into. I just want to get into that. Yo, hit that like button, man. Hit that like button. Duck Deuce, I see you, Au revoir. I can't really see the words because it's far back. IP, I see you. I see Saladin.
Or otherwise received a green light from those suppliers, were permitted to sell there. Since the 1990s, Scooter was the most consistent supplier at 240, having avoided lengthy incarceration or death, like several of his cohort. Over time, the quantities of drugs sold at 240 were staggering. Each street-level dealer at 240 could sell upwards of several grams of crack each day, and suppliers would possess 100 grams or more at any given time. Scooter also sold marijuana and knew that another dude named Cannon and others sold heroin. The suppliers and dealers at 240 also communicated with one another and often coordinated and assisted one another. For example, dealers would share product, split sales, warn each other about law enforcement activity in the area, and monitor the territory for sellers who did not have a green light to sell there. Scooter engaged in multiple recorded calls with Cannon, Harold, aka Howie, and others, in which
this get crazy because the dude that killed my cousin SP also shot a dude, killed him, and hit his girl. Also ran down an old boy that they about to talk about, shot him all up in his face, took his eyeball out and all that, and killed his other man.
They discussed 240's property value and how to manage the block. Scooter also knew about, accepted, and at times participated in violence at and around the 240 territory.
A lot of us lived in that building in my family when we was young. Yo, hit that like button, man. Do what y'all got, man. I'm out. Y'all do what y'all gotta do. I'll play it when I'm ready. Y'all gotta do what y'all gotta do. I'm taking a break.
For example,
if y'all do the right thing, I'll play it. But not right now.
in 2000, Scooter shot at a group of people who were attempting to take control of the drug trade at 240, striking one in the hand and another in the buttocks. Over the years, Scooter also knew the co-conspirators possessed guns to protect their business, and that at least some of his co-conspirators engaged in shootings, which Scooter helped cover up from police. Most notably, on March 27, 2002, Scooter and several other dealers and suppliers at 240 shot and killed Atari Felton, aka Arizona, who had been menacing 240 by engaging in acts of violence that disrupted the drug business there. Earlier on the day of the murder, Atari Felton had fired shots in the direction of East 175th Street and Monroe Avenue, where Scooter and others congregated and made drug sales. After Atari Felton had left the area, Scooter met with a group of co-conspirators inside of 240 and armed themselves with guns. The group then traveled to the vicinity of East 173rd Street and Topping Avenue, where Atari Felton was standing near the entrance to a corner store. Scooter and his...
I'm not going to tell you exactly which parts is not accurate, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of it ain't accurate, and I think that that's why they did the computer voice on the joint, you know what I'm saying? $2, salute. Let me look at my phone. I know there's more than 20 people up in here that I know. You gotta hit that like button. All that I can say.
Co-conspirators opened fire, and one of the bullets struck Atari Felton in the torso, perforating his kidney and liver, causing his death. Scooter was also involved in other gun crimes and acts of violence, while selling and supplying drugs at 240. James Felton was another member of 240.
Yeah, Black in the Moment TV. You knew James Felton too?
He had been associated with 240 in the early 1990s.
And my cousin was cool with a lot of these dudes, you know what I'm saying, from the block that was involved with this shit. He was actually with one of them, you know what I'm saying? My cousin getting killed was an isolated incident. All this was already going on. He just came over there and had an argument with the wrong dude at the wrong time.
Prior to his federal arrest and conviction in the Western District of Virginia for conspiring to distribute crack cocaine and traffic firearms.
So this is the one that got pinched for my cousin murder and about 4 other murders. He was already in the feds.
among other charges. In recent years, Felton's son, James Diaz, aka Chunky, was a member of the
Junkie.
240 conspiracy for at least a time working under Reeves. While Felton was in federal prison throughout the late 1990s and early 2000s, Scooter ascended to leadership of 240. Now, let's move on to the Weeks Avenue side of things before the clash. Yoni was the leader of a large, well-organized.
Now this is where all the rest of the story, it surrounds the homeboy right here. It's the one right here.
Violent gang of drug.
You see his face is messed up. He got shot in his face. They took his eyeball out. I think he got shot in his eyeball.
Dealers, members of which have long controlled the drug.
That's why he looked like that, because he ain't looked like that before. I'm just learning all this. I don't know none of these cats right here. I know my cousin.
Drug trade and committed brazen criminal acts in the neighborhood around East 175th Street and Weeks Avenue in the Bronx. For more than 2 decades, Yoni sold crack cocaine, heroin, and marijuana, and he supplied it to other street-level sellers who peddled it throughout the community. He did this as his livelihood,
That's the one they call Yoni.
Converting the neighborhood around Weeks Avenue into an open-air drug market where guns, shootings, and other acts of violence were the norm. At times running shifts with his brother,
I know a lot of y'all know what's going on, you know what I'm saying? And you know some of the names, but let's just go along with what's being said, you know what I'm saying?
File, aka Codeine, Yoni led and supervised well over a dozen sellers, some of whom were minors. To keep his workers supplied and selling all day, Yoni often possessed 50 to 100 grams of crack cocaine at any given time. He also robbed drugs from other dealers to further increase his supply of product. Throughout the years, Yoni also sought to protect and expand his drug territory, which sometimes led to violent confrontations with dealers in nearby drug areas. To fight his drug war, Yoni possessed many firearms, and he carried, brandished, and
all his Mount Eden
fired them to intimidate both his own associates and the group's rivals, such as the Eden Boys and Monroe Avenue. On May 13, 2004, Yoni cornered
and Weeks Avenue and Monroe is 1 block apart from each other, just in case y'all don't know. Hit that like button, y'all.
Member of a rival drug organization in the front seat of a car and shot him 10 times, killing him. The victim, Jose Montalvo, had come to East 175th Street with an associate known as JD, who had been at a nightclub several nights before, when a member of the rival group punched Yoni's brother in the face. Around 6:30 p.m., upon learning that JD was near Weeks Avenue, Yoni got a Tech 9 semi-automatic pistol with an extended magazine, had an associate drive him to the corner of East 175th Street and Monroe Avenue, and
1 block away,
and then chased JD away. Montalvo remained trapped in the front of JD's car, a 2000 Silver 5 Series BMW. After chasing JD, Yoni went back to Montalvo. Yoni looked to 075's then leader, who nodded to Yoni. Yoni opened fire on Montalvo, shooting him repeatedly, hitting him approximately 10 times in the lungs, aorta, liver, arms, and thigh. Montalvo died in St. Barnabas Hospital.
So they saying Yoni ran down on the BM, you know what I'm saying, and tore old boy up, shot him 10 times.
Shortly after. Yoni was later acquitted of this murder in state court, after which he returned to Weeks Avenue as the leader of the organization. James Felton was released from federal prison in or about February 2010.
Now this is Monroe Avenue.
And he returned to the area of East 175th Street near Monroe Avenue, where his son, Diaz, and other family members resided. There, he resumed the narcotics conspiracy by, among other things, acting as armed security for his son, and rivalries with neighboring gangs. On or about June 15, 2012, Felton was arrested when New York City Police Department officers saw him throw a loaded .380 out a window of the apartment building at 1772 Weeks Avenue, approximately 1 block west and a half a block south of the 240 building. After his arrest, Felton claimed that he had gone to Weeks Avenue to look for Diaz, because he believed Diaz might be involved in a large fight between different groups that frequented the area. One such group was a gang of drug dealers on Weeks Avenue, which was led by Edwin Yoni, aka Yones, who had historically tried to stop Diaz from selling drugs on and around Weeks Avenue. On or about April 12, 2013, Felton pled guilty to possessing the .380 firearm, and he returned to federal prison. At this point, between the crews, there was a legitimate turf war. However, each crew had their own conquest, which stemmed outside of this beef. On July 19, 2015, Yoni accompanied Pedro Livo, aka Pito, to Anthony Avenue, where Olivo and Yoni were attempting to seize control of the drug trade. Following an altercation with a young dealer in the area, Olivo confronted one of the dealer's 17-year-old friends, then shot the friend in the leg, and attempted to shoot him again as he lay in the street. On July 24, 2015, Yoni provided a firearm to 075 members Daryl Simon.
Yoni was wild. Hit that like button, man. 55, 56 of y'all up in here, man. Do the right thing, man. I'm about getting sick of y'all. You know what I'm saying? Yoni was wild. So far, they saying allegedly he clapped the nigga 10 times inside the BM, aired him out. He's dead. Get locked up. He beats the case. Come home. Takes over Weeks Avenue. Now he's trying to take over other blocks. Pull up to Anthony Avenue, which is like 2 blocks away from that. Yo, y'all got laid down. You know what I'm saying? They didn't want to lay down. They clapped them. So that's so far. This is where we at. Now, also James Felton, the one that killed my cousin. That's the. So he was in the feds at first, hearing all this shit go on. Came home, went to Monroe, tried to hold it down. Got into something on Weeks. Gun was thrown out the window. Now he's back in the feds. While old boy's taking over, running from block to block.
aka D-Money, and Jeffrey Fernandez, aka Chief, who used it to shoot Maximilian Mercado, aka Bully, in the neck. The shooting occurred in the middle of the afternoon on a populated city sidewalk, and it occurred as Yoni was attempting to solidify his control of drug operations on East 176th Street, all the way from the Grand Concourse to Anthony Avenue. Bully was muscle for the crew over there and aligned himself with larger groups of sellers, including Damien, aka Floss, the primary supplier at 250, Eric Rivera, aka Chucky, the primary supplier on the corner of Anthony Avenue and East 176th Street, Daniel Jefferson, aka Bang, and Wayne, aka Punch, among prolific career drug sellers. On Christmas 2015, Yoni went to 250 East 176th Street to collect drug debt from an individual to whom he had supplied crack cocaine. Yoni and several of his associates beat the victim, and at least one of them brandished a firearm. Yoni also forced the victim to strip from his clothes and stand in the snow until another dealer at 250 returned with money to pay Yoni. By the end of 2015, Eric, aka Chucky, had come into conflict with several of the sellers at 250, including Derek, aka Bang.
Wait a minute. Somebody put up a joint Venezuela grandmama smoke good weed was timed out. Damn, this is crazy. Yo, Mac, was the Latin in the video that got shot in the face? Fat Will, my brother. Venezuela grandmother smoke. Your boy Latin broke is goofy. He need his eye back so he can street straight. Don't preach one thing and do the opposite. You a charity case for Izzy. Be humble. Uh-oh. It's getting nasty out here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's the Bronx, sir, early. I knew Yoni. Good dude, free the king. Yeah. Yoni was a wild boy. Yoni was a wild boy. But he's the opposite, you know what I'm saying, of the dudes that, you know what I mean?
In part over 250's relationship with Yoni. On at least one occasion in or about 2015, Chucky observed Bang making a drug sale on Anthony Avenue, near the apartment building where Chucky grew up. Chucky and his associates approached Jefferson, dreaded.
Yeah, Black in the Moment, it just popped up. It just came out a couple days ago. My boy Mike G put me on. Y'all gotta hit the like button, man. Dead ass this time. 3941. That's more like it. Let the ops go find something else to do while the real ones chill. You know what I'm saying? For real.
Did violence and stole Jefferson's drugs, cash, and cell phone. On at least one other
They're gonna surf through, go find somebody else to bother, then they come back over there.
occasion, Chucky assaulted Bang in the street by punching him without provocation. James Felton was released again on or about May 24th, 2016. Once again, he returned to the 240, acting as...
Now, even though that's my cousin, I'm gonna tell you right now, that nigga right there, that nigga was bodying everything. When he came out, he heard Yoni was wilding, doing his thing or whatever. I think that it was inevitable that they was gonna get into something. Watch how he do.
Security for his son and agreeing to collect drug proceeds for Scooter. Simultaneously, Felton was attempting to establish his own family and certain close associates as an independent drug-selling enterprise that would not answer or be beholden to 240's current leaders or other members. He let it be known that his son would no longer have to parent or get product from anyone, not Scooter, Cannon, Reeves, nor Yoni. During this time, Felton committed 2 murders, motivated at least in part by his interests in protecting and expanding his son's and other co-conspirators' position within the neighborhood's drug market. On June 11, 2016, Felton shot and killed Marvin Harris, firing more
That's my cousin.
than a dozen shots into Harris's body as Harris attempted to run away and crawl between parked cars, begging for his life. Harris had insinuated that older individuals who were still involved in 240's drug business, like Felton, should not be there anymore. Harris also made comments
That's a lie.
about 240 being his block.
That might be the truth right there.
Perceiving an insult and threat to his authority, Felton directed Ezekiel, aka Zeke, to bring him a gun, then used that gun to execute Harris.
That's wrong too. Zeke never left,
In cold blood.
from what I heard.
On June 19th, 2016, when Chucky,
Or maybe I was wrong.
who we spoke about earlier, walked to East 176th Street where Bang, his brother, Daniel aka Ace, other co-Ds, and members of their family were all gathered for a birthday cookout. Standing near the corner of East 176th Street and Anthony Avenue, Chucky drew a firearm and fired multiple shots towards Ace, who was standing among a crowd of party-goers. 1 bullet struck Ace's 17-year-old sister in the leg, and 2 bullets struck his 16-year-old brother in the abdomen. Both fortunately survived, but only after the sister received staples in her leg, and the brother underwent immediate and life-saving surgery to repair serious internal injuries.
Yeah, it was messy over there, and it went under a lot of people's radar. See, people that's not from the Bronx don't understand. The Bronx is close knit, and most things that happen in Bronx people be knowing about it. But outside of the Bronx, you don't really get a scope of it. A lot of this was inaccurate, but I'm glad they put an eye on it. Whoever this is.
Of Yoni's. Prior to 2010, Foe spent approximately 8 years in federal prison, stemming from a guilty plea in this district to conspiring to distribute crack cocaine on the 1700 block of Weeks Avenue, the center of 075 territory since the 1990s. In that case, an undercover officer recorded conversations and crack buys from both Foe and Foe's brother, Luis Gonzalez. Following his release from federal prison, Foley returned to Weeks Avenue and to the 075 drug conspiracy. Within 7 months, he and his brother were arrested again at the corner of East 176th Street and Weeks Avenue, where they attempted to prevent a police officer from making an arrest. Although Yoni and his brother controlled the block, because of Foe's relationship to Yoni, Foe was allowed to move and prosper freely in the hood. Foley often kept a gun in his car, and on at least one occasion in or about 2015, he directed a co-conspirator to retrieve and brandish the gun during an altercation with someone in the neighborhood. That altercation ended when Foe assaulted the victim. On July 25, 2016, Luis Chapin, aka Crazy Lou, who was a worker for Foley, shot another man in front of a store on Weeks Avenue. According to the investigation, Garcia and Crazy Lou were arguing. When Crazy Lou felt disrespected, he left and returned with a .357 Magnum. He approached Garcia and shot him multiple times in the back and head. After the shooting, Crazy Lou hid the weapon inside the wheel well of a parked car and fled. Crazy Lou also fired a shot that struck an innocent bystander, Yahara Duverge, 37, causing her death. He was later acquitted of manslaughter for Duverge's death. Yoni, his girl, Fo, and Benny White were all present at the time of the Crazy Lou.
Yeah, Marv was a cool ass dude, but Marv, Allenville, salute. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people from Allenville and Gun Hill. Yeah, Marvin was a cool, crazy, cool dude, but Marvin had a loud ass mouth. We argued all day, every day. One thing I can tell you is this nigga always had a pocket full of money. He had just traded in. He went from having a black 330. Well, no, black 300 to the white 350. Trade that in and got him a BM. You know what I'm saying? And Marv was just a flexing ass, talkative ass nigga. But if you didn't know him, you'll think that he was real dangerous. How he used to come off. He was real loud. You know what I mean? Like what? I could see him out there. Yo, this is my block. A couple people told me that's what happened.
Shooting. He was apprehended nearly 3 months after the incident in Orlando, Florida. Surveillance cameras from a nearby grocery store captured the shooting incident on video and showed Crazy Lou.
And they had my cousin murder on camera too.
As distinctive tattoo.
The niggas was killing niggas in front of the cameras and not getting caught, and they was from the block. He went 6 months before he got caught.
Was on his torso, and
it was only because he started killing more people.
Was identified as the shooter. On October 12, 2016, Yomi directed a young...
This October, this Yomi, it's different. Watch this shit right here.
075 member to rob a chain from a civilian in order to repay a drug debt owed to him. Yomi provided a firearm to use, and the young 075 member recruited Adrian Sanchez, aka Patchy, to assist. During the ensuing robbery, Sanchez beat and stomped the victim, and the other 075 member pistol whipped and shot the victim. The victim sustained serious physical injury during the incident. On the night of December 11, 2016, Diaz called his father, Felton, and told him that Yoni had robbed a drug dealer who worked for him. The dealer called, frightened, saying he was robbed at knife point. Felton went to the apartment where Diaz was, and Zeke, who had gave Felton the gun in the June 11th Harris murder, had just arrived as well. Shortly after, Felton called Andre Felton, aka Dre, a family member and drug dealer. Dre drove over to the block a little while later, and they spoke to the dealer who was robbed. The trio then returned to Diaz's apartment, where 3 guns were in Diaz's bedroom. 1 for Diaz, 1 for Dre, which the Felton had brought to the apartment, and 1 for Felton himself. Diaz had been selling product in Yoni's territory. Yoni also found Diaz to be disrespectful, and the two had escalating conflicts over the years. Diaz occasionally supplied some of Yoni's workers, including a dude named Juan, when they needed additional product, and did not want to go to Yoni. Diaz's relationship with Yoni's workers also contributed to the tensions between the two. Particularly, the dealer who was robbed was selling on 175th and Anthony, which was Yoni's territory. Yoni was at Olive Garden when he received a call from Felton, stating that they needed to meet up. Between 2 and 7 p.m., Felton, his son, and Dre prepared for their meeting with Yoni. They all left the apartment, including Zeke. Diaz had changed into all black and was with Dre, trailing behind his father, who had left moments earlier.
That's a fact right here. Kumba, what's up?
At 7 p.m., upon arriving at a store on East 170th.
Yeah, that's called Shot Spotters, Sir Early.
5th Street. Yoni saw Diaz and Dre make their way across the street toward.
So now Felton, the dude that killed my cousin, is telling Yoni, the wild boy, yo, we gotta link up. I need to holler at you. When he comes to meet up with him, he sends a setup.
They stood there for more than a minute while Diaz called his father over to come handle the situation. Likely detecting that he had been set up for an ambush, Yoni then fled west on East 175th Street, drawing a gun as he walked quickly away towards his car on Weeks Avenue. In the course of his flight from Diaz, Yoni weaved between cars and looked back over his shoulder, obviously concerned about Diaz and Dre, who had...
So he's worried about Diaz, which is Felton's son, you know what I'm saying, and Dre.
Also drawn their guns. Unbeknownst to Yoni, Felton was on Weeks Avenue, and he approached Yoni.
This is Yoni about to cross the street. He got his gat. Old boy that killed my cousin is right there, where his car is parked at.
from behind, initiating their altercation. During the verbal exchange, Yoni said something to the effect that he had his gun out for Diaz. As Yoni turned to walk away, Felton grabbed Yoni's gun and wrestled for control of it. Benny White attempted to intervene. Dre and Diaz opened fire, striking Morales and Yoni, causing both to fall to the ground. As Diaz and Dre ran away, Felton calmly walked over to Yoni, who was immobilized from a hip shot, and shot Yoni 4 times, including once in the face, causing Yoni to lose his right eye, and mostly all of his vision in his left eye. He then calmly walked over to Morales, and shot Morales once in the forehead, killing Morales. As Felton walked away, Yoni's girlfriend, Fetty, ran to Yoni's side. Felton turned around, and chased her away, firing at least 2 shots. Police arrested.
So he tell Yoni, link up with me. I gotta holler at you. You know what I'm saying? His son had beef with him. So when they linked up, they seen his son and his man. You feel me? He was like, oh, this look like a setup. You feel me? So he started running back to his car. The other nigga, the father, was at the car already. He started wrestling with him with the gun. You know what I'm saying? Then they separate, and then the son and whoever he was with start clapping. That's what I'm getting from this. Start clapping, and then they, I guess he fell down. They hit him a couple of times, and then the father came. You know what I'm saying? They shot him 4 times in the head and body, hit him in the eye, and then walked up to his man and shot him 1 time in the forehead, killed him. Yoni survived though.
Arrested Felton on December 28, 2016 inside Dre's apartment.
See, and that's when they came to get Felton. You know what I mean? James Felton. So far, you know what I mean? He either killed or shot at least 6 people. You know what I'm saying? I mean, 4 people dead, definitely.
During a search of the premises,
probably a little bit more than that, because he had a couple indictments.
Police found, among other things, a loaded firearm with Felton's DNA on it. In early January 2017, Juan, who we spoke about earlier, retaliated against one of Felton's associates for the shooting of Yoni and murder of Benny White. Juan stormed into the Audelis and Chio barbershop on E175th Street near Walton Avenue about 1:30 p.m. on a Monday and opened fire on Zeke as he sat in a barber's chair, witnesses told police. He got hit all over his body with about 7 shots. Juan ran out of the barbershop to an awaiting BMW while recovering from his injuries, who would later be questioned by police. He survived.
Zeke got clapped 7 times in the barber.
About wraps it up for this story. Felton received life in prison, while his son received 216 months. Yoni was to 35 years in prison, and his girl got 87 months. Most other crew members received around a minimum of 10 years plus. But yeah, this ends it. As always, stay low and thanks for watching.
Yeah, that's the whole shit. Let me just let y'all see a picture of Marvin SP. Oh man. That's SP. It's me and him right there again. Him in the middle. That other one at the end, that's my cousin Lamel. That's 240. I miss SP. I ain't gonna hold you. I miss Cuz. He's together every day, man. I ain't get too many like people that died that, you know what I mean, that even family, you know what I'm saying, or everybody that died don't hit the same way. But when Mike G told me about this story and I looked at it, I'm like, damn, they got a lot of missing pieces here, you know what I'm saying? But I guess because the angle that they're telling it from is like like this is the angle I look at it from, right? Hit the like button. Let me read y'all something real quick. If you can listen, if you hear this, then you'll understand a lot more. Matter of fact, I got it right here. Make it big so y'all can see the words. Let's get a little bit bigger. This is City Press. It says, in the trial of James Felton, accused, amongst other things, of killing Marvin Harris on the corner of 175th Street and Monroe Avenue in the Bronx on June 11, 2016, the jury on June 12th, 3 years and 1 day later, was shown the grainy video of the lead up to that shooting, then of another one in December of 2016. Presiding was U.S. District Court for the Southern District, William Paul III, whatever, Paulie. June 18th, the jury got the case. Judge Paulie told 13 instead. Okay, let's go to the story. Not go to the appeal. Okay. All right, here we go. There we go. It says, in the run-up to the trial, James Felton's lawyer, Lloyd Epstein, told the government and Judge Paulie that we're dealing with a neighborhood here where people are talking about people getting killed, that in the neighborhoods where some of us live, we might talk about how Johnny was accepted at Yale, or, generally is going on in a social work school. But here, this is what people talk about, murder. But Epstein's point at the final pre-trial conference, I want to get to this other part, man. Okay, here you go. This is what I was looking for. My bad, y'all. On June 14th, cooperating witness Andre Felton, that's Dre, described how James Felton told him he had shot Benny White and how he took the 2 guns and threw them in the river. When James Felton returned from Massachusetts, Andre Felton let him stay in his apartment at 2228 Adams Place. The government put into evidence photographs of that apartment, which vacuum sealed bags for selling marijuana, a heroin spoon in bags, a digital scale, and a gun, which Andre Felton showed to James Felton, offering that he could use it. Andre Felton said that alongside selling drugs, he was working as a concierge at a building in Manhattan full-time until in the traffic stop, he was found with 10 grams of cocaine. Now he's cooperating. So he had a regular job. He got knocked and started telling. The government said they may have another cooperating witness on Monday and may close their case on Tuesday. The defense may recall witness Ezekiel Gurley for some questions, then put on a short case. Ezekiel was the one that got shot all up in the body at the barbershop. Just to remind y'all. Anyway, I ain't gonna stay on this all day, man. I just wanted to tap in, you know what I'm saying, and touch on this story a little bit. I don't know why the camera just went so dark. But that's it for the day, man. I'll get with y'all later on tonight, man. MacMean, true story, all stories ain't true. If you ain't hit the like button on the way out. If you ain't subscribed, and I'll get with y'all soon. All right. Rest in peace, SP.